I'm Mike, and I'm very much a child of the 80s. Now today's video is going to be a bit different than my usual videos. Today I'm going on a bit of a wander, and it's something I've wanted to do for quite a while. I'm going to have a wander around the Whinney Banks estate. Even though I grew up in Acklam, kind of, I class myself as a bit of a Whinney Banks kid because we were very close to the border with Whinney Banks, and a lot of my friends lived in Whinney Banks, and more importantly my grandparents lived in Whinney Banks, actually on Whinney Banks Road. So I used to spend a lot of time there. I used to get picked up from school by my nana, which was Whinney Banks Junior School at the time. My granddad was one of those guys on the estate that fixed everyone's bikes, so I used to get involved in that with him and spend hours building bikes out of scrap and just fixing everyone's bikes really, which was great fun. The estate's changed massively from what it used to be when I was a kid, and luckily my grandparents' house is still standing. Sadly my grandparents passed away several years ago, but just to my right is where my grandparents used to live. So what I've decided to do is we're going to just take a look at the streets that I remember first of all, and what the state of them is now. I thought that might be interesting to some people that may have lived on the estate and moved away, or just maybe even familiar with it. That'd be quite nice. So I haven't done a lot of research for this. I'm going to do it as I've done with the Whinney Banks Shops videos. The initial one anyway was just for me to go and see what I remembered, and that's exactly what I'm going to do today. So let's get on with it. Let's go and see what I can remember and see what we can see. Okay, so as I said, just behind me was my nana's house, and that was the block my nana lived on there. Glad that it's still standing. And this was sort of like the area that I played. Now I seem to remember that West Crescent, that went sort of round in a circle, or like a semicircle, and joined on to East Crescent, but as you can see now, it doesn't. Now there are some houses still remaining from the original ones. As we walk down, I always remember this like electric meter thing, electric house thing, substation I believe is probably its real name. We used to ride on here, and this was our little racetrack, so this little sort of oval circuit if you like, and where those houses stand there used to be a couple of bungalows, and the old lady always used to come out and chuck stuff at us, chuck water at us and tell us off for riding around. And for some reason, I don't know why, but this little sort of cut through thing was put in. I remember it going in. I was only a kid. I remember it going in, and I don't really know what it was for, but we used to have that as a rule where you could cut through there if you were last. So instead of coming around that way, you could cut around that way. Now I don't really know why that was put in. Obviously it looks a lot prettier. And there was all hedges along here originally, all the way around. So like rather than a fence that had like a little hedge, there might have been a little picket fence, I'm not sure. And I have brought with me an iPad that's got some little notes on, and it's got a little map on there as well that I've downloaded from quite some time ago, but it does have some of the road names on to help me because I can't always remember them. I've been on this estate for quite a long time. Now this was an alleyway that went to School Avenue, but as you can see it looks slightly different to what I remember. Now this is all a first for me. I haven't been down here for a lot of years, so whether this is the same alley or not I'm not sure, but it used to come out the back of my nana's house to what my granddad called the compound, which was sort of here, because my nana's house, nana and granddad's house was just over that fence there. So this must be where the compound originally was, and this used to cut out onto School Avenue, and I assume those houses there are the back of the ones on School Avenue. As I say, West Crescent used to join on to East Crescent, and I think you could sort of join onto that as well through School Avenue, I believe. I'll put a map on at the end of the video for you to have a look at. Now this looks very familiar. This is it's very the same as what I remember it being. Now over there where those houses are, you can see the black car. I'm sure that was like a children's home. I think that was a children's home. And that house there that's got like all the cladding on the front, that was Rocky's house. Everybody knew Rocky. over there, just behind those cars, we'll have a quick walk over. Now this is St. Francis Close. And that used to be another one of those sort of half circle type things that had all the bungalows at the back, and you could sort of ride in and right round the edge and then back again and come out at the other end. Obviously that's been changed a lot. And behind that was a school. Remember the school being there? Which obviously is no longer. And here, where the driveway and the gates are, there used to be an alley that you could go down, and you could go down the alley and it would bring you out further on the estate. I'm just looking at a map now to see if I can figure out where it used to come out. Did it used to come out at Derby Avenue? I think it used to come out at Derby Avenue. I think that makes sense to me anyway. Okay, so we're on Bruce Avenue. Let's see where it goes now. A friend of mine whose nana and granddad used to live next door to my nana and granddad. His parents lived down here, or his mum lived down here. There's some of the original houses there. But his house is sadly gone because it was much further down. Lovely houses. There's that street I mentioned there. These are still getting built. Some of them aren't even occupied yet. Some of them are. I'm not sure where the link to the original roads would be, because it doesn't look like they're here now. That's a huge estate, isn't it? Grangebury Grove. There's a lot further around as well. Look at that line there. That line where you can see the original houses. That line would have followed along here. So we're probably on the street now where the other side of the houses would be. Because as I recall, it was a pretty straight road. A lot of work going on. Akam Gardens. I thought it was worth coming down here so you could see what was going on. Now, as I recall, the road used to just bend round to the right here. And it kind of still is. Off down there, it's a completely different part of the estate. And we've got some houses down here that no doubt lead onto the field. I mean, these are nice, aren't they? They've got a nice view. There we have the path. Pretty much coming to a halt there, but that's the big alleys. So the last house in the estate, right close to the edge of the field. It's nice. Now, I'm not going to walk along there because I'll get wet feet. So I haven't got time today to walk around the rest of the estate. But if there's enough interest, I'll do a follow-up video where I'll take us around forward from here and down toward West Lane, and we can see what's going on down there. There's going to be some more houses on there, looks like it, doesn't it? So it looks like it. There's a lot of houses over there too. It was a big estate anyway, wasn't it? So this is now Hilton Road. And it says some more houses up here. I'll have a quick walk up here. So this is Queensbury Groves. Let's have a look down here. Is it dead end at both ends? I would suspect it is. Grove, isn't it? That's a nice part of the estate. It's difficult to figure sort of what used to be here before. I would assume it was probably part of the field. And probably the back gardens of some of the original houses that were on Bruce. The fact that this is the last original house shows that they were in really good condition. These were very well built houses. And you know, I'm going to walk up this path. I don't think it's the same one, but I don't think it's far off where the path used to be that went past the lady's house that used to shout at us all the time. So I'm going to walk up here. As I say, I don't think it's the same path, or it's not in the same location. I don't think it's far away though. It probably was about, oh no, it probably is about the same. It probably isn't a similar location because there's a lamppost, there's a telegraph pole there, and that was there before. So it probably isn't far off the same location as the original path was. We're back to Whinney Banks Road. That was Mr. and Mrs. Morgan's house when I was a kid, and again that was my nana and granddad's. Over the road there was Maggie Eves and Mr. and Mrs. McMiniman, I believe it was. And then in this house was Mr. and Mrs. Andrews, which again my friend lived further down the estate I mentioned earlier, but that was his nana's house. Come out to School Avenue now. We're coming up to School Avenue. And there it says dead end. But then again it always was. Let's see what's down here now. So again, original houses still on the street. And a bollard, but now I remember School Avenue leading to a big oval, like a big oval circuit, again very akin to a race circuit that was surrounded by bungalows. And again we used to race our bikes around there, and I'm sure that was on like this estate here. That alley I mentioned was there. That was the alley that cut through onto West Crescent, and I think it carried on up that way and joined onto East Crescent, I think. And then used to be able to walk down here, and eventually it'd lead onto Forbes Avenue. Forbes Avenue would lead onto West Crescent stroke East Crescent, and then eventually if you carried on through there it'd lead onto Hare Hills Road. Obviously very different now. This is all completely new. But if we look down there, you'll see we have a little bit of East Crescent still remaining, which are the original houses. So let's go down there. Well, I said there's not a lot of empty houses. That's the first one I've seen there. So it is good to see. I mean, I remember a lot of empty houses being here because I was probably still around when they were starting to change the estate. Don't forget, the change of the estate has taken a long time. So there we go, there's the original East Crescent there. The original houses. All the way down to Whinney Banks Road and the church. Obviously new houses on this side. And that's where that estate, the new estate starts and the old one stops. So this is the original road. All the way along. Which stops here. Now the East Row was to the right down here. Is it still there? Let's have a look. As I say, if we'd have followed this, we'd have ended up back onto West Crescent. So there we go, we still have East Crescent. But what is this road called? Is this still East Row? Let's have a walk down the bottom and see. Those are definitely the original houses on that side. And there we go, confirmed, it still is East Row. Brilliant. So I think it's safe to say that anything north of where I'm standing now is going to be a new estate, so we're not going to see any of your sort of West Row, your Forbes Avenue, your Hay Hills Road, Eckert Avenue, that sort of thing. I think that's safe to say that's all gone. So I'm going to head back down a road that I know. We're going to head back down this road here and head back to Whinney Banks Road. Again, some of the original houses to my left here. And there's the church. This area here is still familiar to me because, as I say, we were allowed down here. I was allowed down here when I was a little bit older, but this house here, this was a green, just a green space, and I'm pretty sure that that was one of the first houses that went up on this estate, correct me if I'm wrong, and this was a green as well. There was just two greens in the corner, which I always thought was really strange. Why would they waste space that they could have houses on? But they obviously did. And those houses were put up before this estate was made. Before they even started doing this, these houses are up, because, as I say, I remember them going up. I walked down Kirby Avenue. Now, a friend of mine posted on Facebook that some of the church hall had been demolished, so I just thought it was a good time to come down here. Incidentally, I remember on this green there was a alley that used to cut through on the road up here. Pretty sure about that. So there you go, it's cleared. Looks very different now to how it used to. What a big space. And great to still see the St Martin's Gate. So a lot of the original houses still standing here. And this has always been a strange road, I thought, as well. This was always like, it was an afterthought, it was never finished. I've mentioned in a couple of videos before where I remember there being toilets just to the right of the shot there, and a few people have since mentioned that. But this road always just went to nowhere. It's like there's a green there, there's a green there, and this road just stopped. It stopped dead. It's like it was gonna go somewhere and it never ever did. And you think, if it was never going to go anywhere, why would this have just not been left as a green? Why would they have taken the time to have put a road in? But somebody obviously did. So Picton Avenue now. Back of the church. Again, not somewhere that I came that often down here, really. So that link that I was talking about near St Martin's Church on the green where the houses were built, that used to come out onto Weatherhead Avenue where we are now. And a lot of those sort of little alleyways and things have been removed pretty much all over the town, to be honest. It used to come out there, pretty sure it did. Onto Weatherhead. So St Francis Close is the new estate that I mentioned where the bungalows and things used to be, and up here was the school. Catholic school, I think it was. Again, a lot of original houses on this side of the road. Not so much on that side. So this was the site of the school. So I'm assuming that this estate here, these houses, is St Francis Close. So we've still got Weatherhead, but we've also got St Francis Close on that side, which is a bit strange. I'll have a look at the map and see what it says. I'll have a quick walk down Weatherhead Avenue and down Greenlands before we go down Derby Avenue. Again, a very big extension on that house. Funny little lay-by here. Looks like it's been here a while, but that definitely hasn't been. Remember that? Another house built in the garden of an original one by the look of it. It's quite nice. Unusual for the estate. Again, this side of the estate is all original houses. Majority of. And we're just gonna quick walk down here. And this is the field here that joined pretty much the estate that I lived in Acklam to Whinney Banks. We called it the garages, mainly because at the bottom end near where my house was, there was garages there that belonged to, I assume, Ashford Avenue kind of thing, or at least they were rented by a lot of the people that lived in Ashford Avenue. And you can follow that pretty much from West Lane all the way down to sort of Trimden Avenue way, and I'll do a separate video on that another day. As I say, a lot of the original houses still remain at this side of the estate, which I really like. Again, Greenlands Avenue, I've got family that live down here and have had for some time. But you'll notice at the end of this street there's some more recent houses, which is why I brought you down here. Now, my memory's a bit hazy on this, so you guys may need to help me, but I think there was a couple of bungalows on this site. Probably more than a couple, looking at the size of these houses. There's quite a few in there. And again, memory triggered where there was a friend who had a brother residing in one of these houses not that long ago actually, and I ended up being inside one of those houses as well. So the more I walk around the estate, the more I realise that I've been in a lot of these houses. Right, let's head back up to where we started. So that's called Woodland Green, and this is Greenlands Avenue. Which makes sense, doesn't it? And that amazing paving with the red stones in it, I really like that. Just don't see it now. One thing I did notice about the estate when I came in this morning was just how many cars there are. I mean, it applies to all estates, I'm sure, but I thought it was just surprising, because I wasn't used to seeing cars everywhere on that estate. And certainly when I've nipped through in the past, people have obviously been at work, so you didn't really notice the amount of cars that are parked. There was quite a few. 49A Weatherhead Avenue. Another little strange cutout like that one. Back on Derby Avenue. All original houses down here. That's what I like to see. And there's a bit of that alleyway still there. I didn't expect to see that. Oh, there's a bit of it still there. Wow. How many times I've walked down this alley to go home from my nana's, to go back home. Let's see where it goes now. This is quite weird because I haven't been down here for a lot of years. When I was a kid at Whinney Banks Junior School, when I used to walk down here regularly, which sadly is a long time ago. Look, I can even look over the fences now. Couldn't do that before. This is really weird. I haven't walked down here for a lot of years. I haven't really spent a lot of time on the estate really since my nana passed away. The house got sold and you sort of just not forgot about it, but there wasn't really as much of a need to come here. A lot of my friends left the area, so apart from the odd cut through in the car now and then and maybe a ride through on my bike, that's about it. I remember this was the back of the school. So this was the rear entrance to the school. You can see that goes down Whinney Banks Road, and the school was always there. And that's where the alley was. I mean, that's got to be the original fence, or at least the original fence line where it was. And those bushes and things have been put later date, and the land's been reclaimed by the look of it. Is it being given to anybody in particular? It doesn't look like it, does it? No. No, it's just been put as a green space. Going to be interested to look overhead as to where that last section went. It used to go down there, it did a 90-degree turn left, went so far along they did a 90-degree turn right and came back out on the main road. Right, let's head down here, get back to Whinney Banks Road. Again, a lot of the original houses here. As I said earlier, I'm just working from memory here, which, as I've alluded to there, is a very old memory. So my apologies if some of the road names aren't quite right, or some of the things I've said aren't quite right, because you're talking about a memory of like a 9-year-old or something like that. I didn't really play on the estate once I got to a sort of secondary school age. I went after Akam Grange, and this side of the estate was kind of when I came to my nana's for dinner on a Sunday and things. I wasn't getting picked up from school anymore, so it was very much a go to my nana's and come back again. Once I was at secondary school, there was no real need for my nana to pick me up anymore. I looked after myself, so I would come up here to see where the big alleys used to be. I used to cut through here a few times with my nana because I had family in West Lane. My auntie lived in West Lane, and my nana and granddad and my father's side my father's side, the family all lived West Lane as well. Used to cut through here quite regularly, and also I used to come here for a ride on my bike. There was a playground there. No remnants of it now. And of course, all new houses here to my right. This was allotment, I believe. My granddad had an allotment here. I'm too young to remember where it was. I remember the one that he had that was further down once this site got cleared. I remember there being a bit of a hoo-ha when he had to move. And of course the location of Whinney Banks Pond down here. I don't know what state that's in at the minute. I'm not going to walk over the wet grass in my suede shoes to find out. So the houses at the back of Bruce Avenue are probably going to be down here, aren't they? Where was originally Akam Avenue. So the question is, now I can see over there, the camera probably won't pick it up, but that digger that was moving around when we were looking on Bruce Avenue, I can see moving around up there, so I'm pretty certain that's going to be the back end of that estate and where Akam Avenue was. But I think it's too wet for me to walk over it, sadly. It is, it's soaking. And I put the wrong shoes on, I'm afraid, sorry. I can't go over there. So we'll head back. One video I would like to do, if I can find some more information, is about the cabbage club that's just behind me. That way. But it turns out that the cabbage club wasn't its real name. The cabbage club is a generic term for a social club bar type thing on a garden club or a allotment site, that sort of thing. So trying to find information on it is quite difficult. Of course the clubs are completely gone, but you can still see some of the parking spaces. I always thought that was a bit of a strange space as well. It's meant to be a car park. So that pavement goes to nowhere, doesn't it? It makes you wonder what the planners had in mind. It just stopped. And quite a big pitch where you could have got some more houses, and then they've sort of stopped the pavement and thought, oh, we'll have a little parking bay there. Or is it Chevrons? I'm not really sure. And that's not a recent addition, that's from many, many years ago. So heading back down Whinney Banks Road now. Yeah, this part of the estate is my favourite by far because it's all pretty much as it's meant to be. Mansfield Avenue, some original houses there, but cut short. Pretty sure it went a little bit further than that originally. It's not on my map. Yeah, Mansfield's not on my map. Don't know why. As I say, this is my favourite part of the estate because a lot of it as it's meant to be. The more I wander around, the more I see houses and think, I know someone lived in there, I remember them now. But I don't necessarily remember who it was exactly. It might have been someone's mum's mate or someone's dad's uncle or something like that. I just seem to remember going on that front garden or knocking on the door or going in for some pop or I just remember little bits and bobs as I've been walking around. I say it's been really nice walking around because I haven't done it for such a long time. That little alleyway has got to be the best of off Derby Avenue. That was the best memory that. I got a little shiver off that one. So I hope you enjoyed that little visit to the Whinney Banks estate. As I said, I did very little research for that, and a lot of it was from memory, and a 9 or a 10-year-old's memory, so I don't think I did too bad really. If you've got any comments to make, I'd love to hear them. If you've got any memories of your own that this video has triggered, that'd be great. Or if there's some things you think, no, that didn't go there, or that went there, or whatever, correct me. That's great. That's what these videos are for. These videos are to spark memories and to start the conversation, a little bit like the Whinney Banks shop ones did. So I hope you enjoyed looking at that. As always, thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.